I'm Brad Exton with FASS Fuel Systems, and what's really cool about today is that I'm honored that Michael Dalton from RLC from Cookeville, Tennessee came in. You dropped off Orange Crush?
It's sitting over at PRI.
Okay, and he came over to see us. We're about 4 hours from there, and he came over and I got to give him a tour of our facility. And Michael started calling me out.
I did.
What did you call me out on?
Okay, so as a shop owner and installer, the one question that comes up is how accurate are these pumps? We see these numbers, we hear the numbers.
What numbers are you talking about?
How many gallons per hour?
Oh, okay.
Okay, right?
Okay.
So I saw your video talking about it, and it got my wheels turning.
Okay.
Right? Because I'm like, as a general consumer that's coming in off the streets to buy one of these pumps, how do they know? Like, how can they prove that this pump will do 200 gallons per hour versus this pump that may do 100 gallons per hour? Like, how do we factually know this? And then I see other brands making these claims, and I figured since we're here at your shop today, you've been kind enough to take us around, show us the manufacturing process.
And I'm going to take this as a compliment. You know why? Because we have these other manufacturers aiming at us. But one of the things that you'll get with us, and this is, talking to our, to you all out there, when FASS says something, we stand behind it, okay? We want truth in advertising. When I tell you something, it's true, and we sell where you can back it up in the field. And one of the things that I'm going to tell you is on motors, you can see all these motors here. The motors vary. Most motor manufacturers, they'll fluctuate 10% plus or minus of what you spec the motor at. Our motor manufacturer really tries to nail in 5% plus or minus what you spec the motor at, okay? So I'm going to give you truth in advertising. When I tell you it's 240, it's 240, okay?
That's what I want to know from a shop owner's perspective, because if I'm retailing it to my customer, I want to know that I can factually say, I saw it with my own eyes. Okay, so you're going to validate today, okay? Okay. We have all these pumps. We have 290s right here. We have the 240s right here, okay? And the 125s. Let's do 240s today. Okay, these are going into production, and these are the 240s going into production right here. You pick any of these, 2 of them, please, and he's going to validate it. And I'll tell you one thing about Michael. His morals and his integrity, he will not sell them. Okay? I won't.
No.
That's a fact.
All right.
There's 2 pumps.
Those are 2 pumps.
I want to see what they're made of.
All right. We're going to go. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Let's go out here. The truck's out here. All right, Michael. We're here. We have your pump on here. Okay. We have your other pump here, but I think we're going to concentrate on this one. One of the things I want to point out to you, take a look at that brush. Okay. That brush is making contact on these plates right here. Okay. It's only about 1/8 of an inch. After about 30 hours of running, 40 hours of running, that brush will actually, instead of being tilted, it's not like that, but instead of just barely touching, it'll be fully seated in.
That's what you were talking about. It has to seat after about 30 hours or so, which would in return make a more consistent number for the long haul.
Well, make a bigger number because you're getting more contact surface.
Makes perfectly good sense.
What I want to also point out here is in some of these videos, I don't know what's going on, but what we suspect is that when we spec our flow numbers and everything, if you look at our mounting packages, like on our 125s at 60 PSI, 45 PSI, our bigger pumps over 165 gallons an hour, if you've noticed, we've been putting 5/8 line in them instead of 1/2 inch line on the suction side.
That's going to be key critical to getting the fuel to it.
Yes. We can do 1/2 inch up here because we're under pressure, so we can force it up. But sucking it up, makes a difference on sound and flow rate.
And that would play a huge part in it then.
Yes.
On our race truck, for example, the FASS that we run on it, we feed it with a 3/4 inch line. Right. And we never have a fuel issue. So what you're telling me is every fitting is key critical.
It is.
All the way starting back at my tank.
Which leads me to my next one. One of the people, testing and comparing our pumps, when they turned our pump on, their lowest flow number that they could get with that 240 was 22 PSI. Free flowing. We have 2.3 PSI on here, so we're still a little restrictive in our fitting. Okay. But if they're at 22 PSI.
How small is their fitting that they're sucking the fuel in with?
Well, I think they're pressurizing it through that one.
Okay.
Okay. But it's still restrictive. Okay. So it's not getting to their meter. We specialize in one area. Okay. And these are the little things that we learn. We're the doctors of this. Yeah. So let's fire this up, okay? We have all the proper fittings here. We have the meter up here. I'm going to fire this up. I'm going to start it at 14.2 volts, okay? What we're doing, we're 2.4 PSI, flowing 246 gallons.
Okay, so now that's saying 4.1 though.
Right, that's per minute.
Okay, that's gallons
240,
per minute.
yeah, 246 gallons an hour.
Okay.
Okay?
You know.
And what I've done here is what we're showing what the pump can do, so we blocked off the bypass. Okay? So it's just flowing straight through because the regulator in here regulates to what the engine needs, and then it bypasses, so we can feed, okay, what the engine needs.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack down here, and let's just go to 20 PSI. Now we're at 240 gallons an hour.
Okay.
Right here, but I'm still cracking down on the PSI right now. And then the other thing that we also know about these is that the pump runs stronger after about 30 hours because the brushes are seated all the way in.
Okay.
Okay?
There's right now, that's negligible.
Yeah, that's 234 gallons an hour, 3.9 gallons per minute at 20. And there's only about a 1/16 of the brush touching right now. Okay?
Okay.
And after about 30 to 40 hours of running, that'll seed in, and we see changes in that also. So let's go on up. And by the way, this motor is good up to about 23 amps. 24 amps. So let's just go up to, okay, that's close to the 46. We're 3.7 gallons a minute.
Okay.
That's 180, that's 220, 222?
Sounds about right.
Okay. 222 at 46. And
At
we're
46 PSI, but when are we ever going to need 46 PSI fuel lift pump pressure?
well, like
What would be an example?
your P pumps.
Okay, on P pump?
Yes.
There you go. Okay.
And then we get up to 6-liter Fords. We get up to the 6-7 Fords, the higher pressure, and here we are. We're at 108. We're at 200 gallons an hour right there. You can hear it cavitating. Might need some more fuel in the tank, but you can hear it cavitating right there.
Okay.
We can pump this one up to 72 gallons, 72 PSI, 180, 198 is what I'm calculating in my head, 198 gallons an hour at 3.3 gallons per minute. And we're at 24 amps right now. Now, let's just do a quick thing also. I'm going to back this off. I'm going to turn this up. The 6-7 Fords are running at 14.4 volts. So, and this is race application. This is, I mean, you're putting, the need this 240 here, what we rate. That's a lot of power going down the highway.
Absolutely.
And you know more about that arena than I do, but there's 70 PSI. Oh, that's 210 gallons an hour.
Right there.
Yeah.
At 70 PSI.
Right. At 14.4 on the volts. Let's back it off down to 60. Let's say you have a 6-liter or 7.3 that needs this. Can't help to laugh at that one. You're 180, you're, what is that, 204? 204 gallons an hour. Let's go down to a P pump now. Trying to dial in this manual valve. We're going to see it pick up. What we should do is have you sign this pump and let us break it in and come back. That's 180, 222. Right there. And we're still a little bit high under pressure. Once that brush gets seated all the way in, it'll make a difference. And it makes a big difference also, Michael, is when we send this out, these bigger pumps and everything, we send 3 or 4 feet of the 5/8 line for the suction side and then 1/2 inch feeding it. It makes a big difference on this right here. Even our fittings, we made sure that we can get the biggest holes possible and still have durability of not cracking going down the road. They have the flow through. So, you know, if you can get some fittings where they're nice and big,
But the inner diameter is really small.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So we've had to, everything that we've spec'd for this is to get those higher numbers.
So the one thing I've learned today is you put an unbelievable amount of resources into R&D
Right.
and quality checks. You're going over everything. So what I've seen on the good old trusty internet, you know, everybody has their own knowledge base because of Google now. I'm gonna have to call shenanigans on what I had previously seen and called you out on this morning.
Appreciate that.
So Brad, I will backtrack on it and say you won at this battle fair and square.
Thank you. And you know what? And you brought up something earlier now. We almost forgot about it. It's kind of like doing a dyno, isn't it?
Absolutely. Manipulating the numbers to what somebody might like to see.
Right. So, and we're always learning here. We've been doing some testing on this thing. We learned something. And whenever you think something's lacking in stone, something in the hiccup, you learn. So.
And that means more than anything to us as a shop. If we know that we're working with guys like you and your team here that are taking the time day in and day out to test these different theories and see how this fitting is going to change those numbers, that means a lot to us.
Yeah.
And the ability to be able to sell it and be 100% confident.
Stand
with the
behind
product.
it. We do the
Absolutely.
same. This is
So
Michael.
thank you.
Michael Dalton with RLC. He owns the Orange Crush, and you have an awesome truck. Go YouTube it and take a look at what he races. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right.